Hi, welcome. It's Chang from maverickstar Observatory. On the back of yesterday's video, reading some of the comments, I thought I'd just do a quick video with a little bit of a reply to some of the comments. Starting with the first one, of course, I'm not taking nothing from Isaac Newton. I did mention just a coincidence, or maybe a little bit more, maybe it's synchronicity, that me and himself, both being scientists, was very interested in the study of not just the King James Bible, the Old Testament, but I've studied a lot of religious books, even read an English version of the Quran. And I've said this many times before, I think we're all on the same page. We have different names for our gods, and if I was to point on a spot on the wall at the back of me and say that was my god, because of these reasons, I'm sure that would be your god, only a different name for the same reasons. So I'm not trying to take nothing away from Isaac Newton. He was a great scientist, and the thing I did respect about him is that he did, or I was intrigued about him, is that he did have a passion for the Holy Bible. He believed that there was a code within it, and he spent a big majority of time in his personal life, behind doors. It wasn't very well known at the time, but he was trying to decode the Bible. I've read the Bible many times. I understand as well one of the comments where someone said it is mentioned in this Bible, I can't remember the actual paragraph, but if you tell people about God and him being real, and they still continue in their path in life being very corrupt, wicked people, then their reward will come back on you for their bad behaviour. So yes, I understand that, but I have did a little bit worse than that, haven't I? I took it a little bit further. If you remember, many years, must have been over 10 years now, I woke up one morning after just trying to work out life, what it was about. What the hell are we doing? And is it just about getting up in the morning, going to work, coming back home, having something to eat, spending a little bit of that valuable time that we only get when we're in these routines with the loved ones that we have? And I just thought, what is it all about? Well, it was bothering me for years and years, and one morning I woke up not realising what I'd woke up with was probably the answer to that. And when I say I've done probably worse than just tell people that God might be real, I actually went that little bit further and believe I've presented evidence that it is real. I know a lot of you like the science, you like what we do here at the maverickstar Observatory, but like Isaac Newton, there's something else that's going on in my personal life, and I like to share it with you. And I know sometimes you guys like that. It makes it real, doesn't it? And you know what? I don't script these videos. They're just off the top of my head, like right now. So I might, bumble a little bit. So how did I prove then that there was a supreme being out there? Well, it came to me that morning with that equation, which I call the universal equation. It's a very unique equation, and there has been a lot of people that have examined that equation and still to this day are a little bit baffled that we can put anything into this equation and we can get just one of two results. It is the ultimate filter equation, unlike any other. And on that morning when I woke up, I'm not that smart of an individual to come up with such a thing. And I woke up that morning, I had this equation. I thought it was very strange. I wrote it down straight away. I didn't even get dressed, I just went straight to the desk, piece of paper in my hand, wrote the equation down, and then over the coming weeks after that point, I realised its true importance. And it was just like, I'd been given a foundation of understanding something about this reality that we have. And then it was just a conglomerate of other little things that came together that just made it even more special. What am I talking about? Something has been slap bang in our face for thousands and thousands of years, and maybe I believe the Egyptians in old Abydos understood something about it. and it was kept very secret. It probably wasn't put down in the written language of the time, but it was definitely put down in symbology. And what I'm talking about, if you look up the Syrian temple, is it, in Old Abydos, Egypt, you will see, and you will probably see videos on YouTube about the flower of life being carved onto the stones in this temple of Osiris, or Syrian, or wherever it is. And they believed it was carved in there with high technology laser. Well, whether that's true or not, I just find it very interesting that in this temple of worship that they had such a mathematical pattern. I'm not sure how much you know about the flower of life, but it does have a big resemblance to something like I was talking about just a few seconds ago, something that's been slap bang in our faces for a long time. I'm talking about the number 9, and that is of course the one of the numbers of the filtered universal equation. We either get one of two answers, a 9 or a 0. So, for those of you that haven't seen the videos that I've done on the universal equation, go back into the history of the videos on this channel, and I have done a couple of videos which explains how you can use the equation. I haven't been smart enough to work out the binary language of the universal equation, because it always spits out just those two numbers, a 9 or a 0. And I just know this, that when we see this special number 9 come up in anything, that there's something divine about it. So how did I draw the conclusion then that I proved there was something taking place in our universe? The way the universe was being created was on an intelligent platform, and it was being led out on that platform. How did I come to the conclusion then that that proves that a supreme being exists, whatever God name you choose to call him? How did I come to that conclusion? Well, simply this: if this universe is going about creating in an intelligent and a conscious manner, or let's just say for now an intelligent manner using mathematics, then it must be conscious that it's doing that. And if that is conscious and it is operating in an intelligent manner, then that should be concrete evidence for you guys that there is something else at work in our universe, probably what we would class as our God, whichever we choose to call it. It is interesting, just deviating a little bit, that there is even in the King James Bible many names given to the supreme being, the God. I mean, I would call him I first of all call this like, it's not a new religion, but it's almost like the universal conscious is a name of a God that I would probably use. But I bet you, if we was to visit other worlds, and we don't live in a universe where we are the only intelligent beings, trust me, there are many of them out there. I can't prove that to you. You have to just rely on the fact that there is so many planets with so many stars that provide warmth and bathe that planet with life, the abilities for life to form. There must be water on that planet, because if you understand the periodic table of elements, and from the standard model of the the universe began with a big bang, that within the first minute every atom within the universe was created, and at split seconds from each other we had hydrogen, helium, lithium, carbon and so on throughout the periodic table being formed at that point in time. So we know that water is not just common to this planet. It can be the elements that make up water, hydrogen and oxygen, exist throughout our universe. It's like iron exists throughout our universe. We've found that out. A lot of nickel rains down on our surface of our planet every year, and I bet you the majority of the core in our centre of our planet is nickel and iron. And it should come of no surprise then when we're getting these meteorites fall to the floor that they are the same components. So we know that these elements are not just limited to this planet and to our solar system, they are throughout the universe. But the point is this: I'm going to, at the end of this video, for people that are a little bit anxious and they've got an anxiety about life like I had, you know, something came to me, a little way of understanding something that, you know, is a little bit reassuring. But in general, you know, we started off talking about, you know, you're going to be punished for telling people, but you'll be probably doubly punished for proving to people that this exists. I think the universal equation does that very well, prove the existence of a greater being. So I'm in a big lot of trouble, you know, for telling people that are going to continue in their lives, living their lives the way they will, and that's their freedom of choice, that's their, you know, that's their prerogative, it's their life. I don't mind, you know, if I have to carry the punishment for you guys, either way. You know, I just didn't want to keep it to myself because I thought it was really important to share with others so that we all had an understanding that there was something greater at work out there, and that it was abiding by, you know, mathematical means, in other words, intelligent means, and, you know, has been doing so for many millions of years. I think if we could really understand what we was talking about right now, we would be talking about God in simple terms. And, you know, that equation does prove that this universe creates on that manner. And the simple reason for that is because we've got to a level of scientific understanding now where we can write out a mathematical formula for a cube or an octagon or any other solid or platonic shape. We can write out the mathematical formula and we can end up with just a simple number for that object, be it a plant, a human being, whatever. You give me the number, you put it in the universal equation, and it comes back out with a binary code. And, you know, it's no mistake that in the last 50 years we've been using a very similar binary code to this universe. The binary code that we're common and familiar with is zeros and ones. You know, the data on a CD disk is written in a binary code of zeros and ones. This universe is using a very similar pattern to create. It's using zeros and nines, and the universal equation shows that very clearly. Like I tell you, I am not a genius. You know, I cannot just sit there and come up with an equation like that. I believe wherever I was that night when I was asleep, I was being shown something, is the only thing I can say. Definitely being shown something. I don't know whether I should have shared it with others, but I think when you find something very great, you know, you should share it with others. So I'm going to round the video off here, guys, because I've got to go out in a few minutes. In a nutshell, one thing I found, you know, through my life and life experiences and study of science and everything, is that this universe, and I hope this gives you some, or it eases that anxiety that you might have about, you know, this strange world that we live in, and the strange, you know, systems that we abide by and live within. You know, if I could give you just something that would probably ease that anxiety, it would be this: is that there is no mistake in your being here right now, and I've found that out. And you know, it's very important that you are here right now, even though you think you're not doing a lot. But let me tell you something now. You know, I've talked about fractal patterns. Well, if you're part of that fractal pattern, you will know that there is an extension from you that carries on. That fractal pattern from the point where you find yourself in that pattern. So you've identified you after zooming in, zooming in, zooming in. You've identified yourself. You know, you then continually have a pattern extending from you. Now, this universe has made no mistakes by the way it's created everything within it. It has followed a plan, used mathematical formula to create that plan, and you're part of it. And you might not think that you are very important in this world, but I guarantee you, you are more important to this universe than you will ever imagine, for the simple fact is that, you know, if we took you from that pattern in the fractal, that fractal piece, if we removed you from there, there would be nothing else after that point. And if we continued removing things from that fractal pattern, the whole plan would eventually break down or would continue to stop at that point. So, you have a very important part to play, even though you don't realise it. Without you, it cannot continue. Even though, you are on a very small planet, you're part of, if the universe is so big and expansive, still you on this planet plays a really important part in that. You must understand that from the point of yourself in that fractal pattern, it can't continue if you're not here right now. So there's a plan at play, and you're part of it. The other thing is that this universe wastes absolutely nothing. What I mean by that is that the atoms and molecules that you are made up of have been around forever, the beginning of the creation. And when you die, they will continue to be part of that creation because they simply cannot be destroyed. So this universe is a huge recycling factory. It doesn't waste nothing. Absolutely nothing goes to waste. Even if we start to smash the atoms down into their elementary particles, we still have particles that can play a part in this universe. So there's no wastage at all. Everything finds its place at some point. And you might be young and you might be old, but know something is, or know two things is, first of all, it won't stop here. It can't stop here. I think, even though science has tried to understand where the subconscious is in the human body, and I don't believe that they've even managed to do that yet, I believe that it's probably because it probably doesn't even exist within the body or the brain, that subconscious, that little spark of the flame that we originate from doesn't exist probably even in the body. That conscious is somewhere probably else, because we can't find the conscious, we can't identify it, and we can't see it. It almost is like it is part of the ether that makes up, the rest of the universe. So I don't believe that you won't, after this life, I don't believe that that will be it, that will be the end. You will continue, that conscious goes back, perhaps like the recycling of everything, goes back to the original flame of where it came from. You could argue, and I have heard people say that that spark that we will carry, that little bit of conscious, is part of the divine conscious. So, it's been a little bit of a different video. I've really got to go, and I just wanted to say, we are in the beginning of a new month, guys. We're in August, and even though last month was a disaster for the observatory, although we are still making progress with getting equipment out there, we still need to be funded at the end of the day by the public, which is you guys, and I hope that you continue to do it, and we can have occasionally more conversations on the topic similar to what we have today. And I will just leave it here by, if I can, just saying, I've had this book for 20 years now, and I will say that there is more to it than meets the eye. There's something more to it than meets the eye, and there is obviously information in there that is not easily read out. I've said this before, you can read that book, or you can really read that book, and I think you've got to have something about you to understand some of the things which is taking place in there. But I do believe this. There are some signs, that in this time that we're in right now, which for me caused me a bit of anxiety, because, I would love to see this world progress in a positive nature. But sadly, and I think you'll agree with me, it is not going in that direction, is it? But I can read from the comments in the videos that there are people like myself that still fight the good fight, and for the good cause, and like I say, I don't mind making sacrifices to, bring you guys aware of certain things, even if it comes at my own expense. I don't mind that. Maybe we can nudge people in a different direction that they haven't probably realised they're going in life, and that might lead to them having a better life, and that's really what I would love to do with what we do here at the observatory, keeping you informed of these beautiful anomalies that are taking place. And we really are lucky to be in a time where we're going for a magnetic reversal. It's a unique opportunity for humanity to experience that, perhaps for the first time, if it is a completed reversal. If it's an excursion, we probably wasn't too clued up about what was taking place at that time. We will never know is the truth of the matter, because if you're like me, you look back at some of our ancient civilizations, like the Egyptians, and even today, a lot of people that have done a lot of research into why did they build the pyramid in the first place? Why put so much effort into building it? What was the purpose of it? Is it a machine? Is it just a structure? Was it to just impress, people from other parts of the world, that when they come there, they saw them as great, great people? We just don't know. There's a lot of people who say that is probably something to do with keeping the earth in balance. It's a machine, it produces free energy. There are countless explanations for it, but we don't have the right one, and we can't prove it either way. We just know that it was, an amazing object that was built, that we would probably say by the hand of man. So, anyhow, guys, I hope you've enjoyed, this topic. I'm looking forward to your comments in the section. If you want to help support our observatory, there's a link down there, and you can support us on Patreon or on, one-off payment on PayPal. It's entirely up to you, but that's as much as I'll say about that. I'll just say one other thing, guys. It's probably really important that we appreciate our friends and our family, and we enjoy their company as much as we can get it. And other than that, guys, I say what I usually do. Bye for now. You have a good day.